Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about Wurm Online. It's been re-released on the Steam app, and you also can get it right from the developer page of their web page. So just Google Wurm Online, and you'll be able to get the client. Either get the client from the web page or from Steam. You'll be able to play the game for free up to skill level 20. As you go and do things in this game, you get skilled at it. The free to play portion is up to skill level 20. If you want to go beyond skill level 20, then you'll have to pay the subscription fee, which is about $9 a month. All right, with that said, I did want to talk about the maps real quick. I'm going to hit the M command here in the game, and you're going to be able to see these are the old, the game's been out a while. These are the older servers, the older maps. Then they went to the epic maps, and now we're talking about the northern maps are the ones that are the new ones. So these, you're either looking for Harmony, Defiance, or Melody. When the game released about 30 days ago, these were the only two available. It's a PvE Care Bears map server, and then the PvP server. What happened is the Harmony server got a little laggy. I was on this server initially with a large group of a large guild. They took this square here. They actually purchased a big portion of land, and we were working it. But the problem being is the map being so big and so many people on the server, the lag was so terrible that for days I couldn't really play. And when they announced they were going to be making a smaller map, I migrated to this map by myself as a solo player. So when I got onto this world, I spawned in the Overture town, and then I walked up this coastline. I am in J19 is where I'm at. So if you look at the J here, 19, you'll see this little green peninsula. If I close that map out and turn around, that's what this is right here. I do want to apologize. My screen capture software sometimes causes a hiccup. See that little hiccup that you just saw there? I will try to minimize that as much as I can with this video. I've been trying to tweak the settings for me to get good graphics and good sound. I just so you can understand what I'm saying. I've got the settings where I want them to be, but occasionally the system will, if I highlight something and move, you'll get see that little stutter step you get. That's my screen capture software having issues, and I apologize for that. I will figure it out, but as long as I don't scroll on anything, the game's smooth. If you're playing the game, it's smooth. Every once in a while you'll get a little bit of lag, but not too bad. I found that this problem that I'm having with my screen capture software is more or less when I'm moving and I'm highlighting a tile. Every tile in this game you can highlight because you can do something with it if that's what you want. This game is a lot like Minecraft, where you go out and you kind of just do whatever you want to do, and you just have fun. When I came around this peninsula here early on, there was nothing up here on this whole area that you see here in front of me. That's all my property. I had to build the dock that I'm standing on. I built it myself. I had to get my wagon and come down here, and I flattened out this land. I used the sand that was on the beach to do it. Then I threw some dirt on top of the sand, so I was able to pave it. Also, you'll notice that I got a boat here. I built the boat. I can get on the boat by hitting the F command, and then I can just float around if I want. Now, everything in this game you have to build or have someone help you build. Now, again, I'm a solo player. I did everything you've seen here on my own. As you know, there again, that's my dock, and I'm going to try not to highlight something while I'm moving, so we don't get too much of that stutter step. But the boat took a while to make. I think it took me 6 hours to make it, and it's a nice little rowboat. It's the beginner boat. Now you can get a raft. There's a raft that you can make, and that's the skill level below this one. I went right to this one. I hit the F command to disembark, and now I'm here on my dock, my first dock that I built. Now I built this dock first, And then I ended up building that one out there because if I get the bigger boat, I need deeper water for it. All right. So as you can see, I've paved all this. I have a I have a mine right here. I've got an iron node down in that mine. So I had to actually prospect that, and I'll in future videos I will explain what that's all about. This video is basically to show you what I've done in the first 30 days of gameplay. So I do have there's an iron node down there. It's really close to the surface there. You don't have to go too far down to get it. I again built the dock. I built these fences. Everything that you see here, uh, anything, the fences, this was all just land, open land. I had to level all this. So before you can plant a crop in this game, you have to level it. Now I had to go out to the world and forage for the seeds, which I ended up doing. Now I'm in a situation where when I harvest something, I'm getting 2 or 3 up to 4 items. I just reseed it with one of the items, keeping 3 of the 4. And I've got a box over here, food box that I built. And this food box pretty much has all my food. If I open it here, this is where I put all my food. And what's nice about it, once you build this food box, nothing decays. Once you put it in there, there's no decay on the item. There's no damage or decay, as you can see. And I'll explain that in future videos, what that's all about. But this is my cook shack. This is my oven. I can cook food here and then consume the food. Now, it is a survival game. As you can see up by the top where my name is, I've got a green bar. That's my stamina. So anytime I do an action in the game, it requires some stamina. The blue bar is my water, what I've drank in. And this bar here is my hunger bar. And you have to eat, you have to drink in this game. You'll see here I built a tower. On the top of this tower, I got some oil lamps that light up during the night. My property looks amazing at night because I got a lot of oil lamps going on. Right now, my carpentry, if I hit the F12 command, you'll see my skills. My carpentry is only 46 at this time. Again, if you were a free-to-play player for this game, you couldn't get past 20 on these skills. You'd be capped at 20. So you wouldn't be able to get beyond 20 if you're free to play. But once you pay for your subscription, you get over 20. As you can see, my carpentry is 46. Once I get my carpentry to 50, I'll be able to put in another level on this tower. All right. So as you can see, there's animals in this game. There's a cow here. There's a bull over there. There's a cow. Actually, those animals don't belong to me. They belong to my friend Ark, who owns a property next to me. He's just looking, he asked me to take care of him for a while until he's able to do what he wants with his land. So I've been grooming them, taking care of them, feeding them. I have no problem with that. Right here, my land ends at this fence line. And so I leave the Tarkis zone right there. So my property ends right there. So really, technically, that dock system that we were on initially near where the boat was is in the neutral boundary between Ark and me. So his land starts, I believe, right up here is where his land begins. And he's been doing a lot of surface mining. He doesn't play, I mean, he plays a lot. I mean, he plays a few hours a day with his wife. They're getting a lot done. But when he's able to level out that land and make his pens bigger, he'll take his cows back. I made this path to him to make it easy, and to be, to get to his area. As you can see, when I'm running on dirt, I'm slowed right down. But when I'm running on the paved tile system that I created, I'm going uphill a little bit here, but I'm going to speed up. So this is lag. That right there was server lag. So I've got another mine system here that I built. I got marble down in that area. I'm not going to go all the way down there to show you, just so, I don't want to make my video too long, but that's another mine area that's got marble in it. That first mine area that we saw down here by the clay, that's got iron in it. This was the first house I built. Let's get my carpentry up. This was the first house I built. I called it if I scroll over it, it says haunted house. It's my haunted house. I'm trying not to move and highlight at the same time so that we don't get that little stutter effect. Yeah, there goes that stutter effect. And I do apologize. I'll try to figure it out. It's got something to do with the screen capture because that stuttering's not happening in the game. It really isn't. And I did mess around with it a little bit. When I fixed one thing, I caused another problem. So I just put it back to default. And hopefully we get through this video and not see much of that stutter step. So that's it. My forge is inside this building. Well, I just moved the compass. I don't want to do that. Put the compass back. So my forge is inside this building. If I want to melt iron down, now you got to mine the iron. Like I said, I found an iron node. You do it with a pickaxe. When you first get into the world, they give you the basic tools that you need to get things done. And then what you can do is make your own tools, and then you can bump up the quality. Now I've done that. I made a pickaxe that I put a quality of 30. I will explain that in future videos, what quality means on items and how you improve items in this game. The higher the quality, the longer the item lasts before you need to repair it. So I'm going to bring up my inventory real quick, and I'm going to show you my grooming brush because I was just using it. I've got a 66 damage on that. So I right click on it and then I hit repair. And it should take me about 66 seconds to repair it. It's a second per damage on it. Now it's not going to go below 1. 1's the worst quality. That means that that's why it was at 66. So as I use it more, it takes more and more damage because it's a low quality. Now as you can see that, let's scroll up here, like my whetstone's at 21. So I can use it more often before it takes damage, and then I don't need to repair it. But I'm trying to get my repair ability up, so I'm pretty much only beefing up the quality of items that I'm really using a lot of. And then those items that I use occasionally, I'm going to just kind of leaving them at low quality so that I can just repair them so I can work on my repair skill. So that's still repairing. I mean, it's still 33 seconds to go. So people will tell you that repairing stuff takes a lot of time in this game away from what you need to do. But, you know, it is what it is. I get a lot done even when I have low quality items. So that's my forge area. This is where I make my nails and my ribbons and anything I need to make things like my barrel. Well, I'll go over that stuff in detail in future videos on how I went. There's that stutter step again because I'm highlighting something in the world. And I'll go over how I went about making what you see here. I did want to talk briefly about my animals. To get those, you have to go out into the world with a rope. Now they give you a rope to begin with. So what you do is you click on the rope, you click on the animal, you hit lead, and then you can lead them back to these pastures where then you can lock them in with these gates in these walls. I've been breeding the animals. There's a small adolescent horse right there. There's one in the other pen. So I bred these animals. The cows are not old enough to breed. The horses are, so I was able to breed the horses. So I go to my lamb pen, and I've got a baby lamb in there because I've been breeding the lambs. I got a pair of scissors I had to make at my forge that allows me to shear the sheep for wool. So that's pretty cool. I've got some vegetables, I guess, that are ripe that can go. That's my pumpkin house up there. That's going to be a pretty big structure. It's pretty cool at night to see it lit up. All those pumpkins are lit. And how I light the pumpkins is I use oil. I got an oil bin that I made over there. I also had to make the cart, and I had to gather the horses to pull the cart. So the game is quite complex. It's not like you're going to just jump into something. Like the cart took maybe 3 hours to make. I mean, things take a lot of time in this game to make. And if you've played this game, you'll get an appreciation of all the stuff I've been able to do in less than a month. And again, I'm a solo player. That stuttering that you see here, that's a game lag. A little occasionally I get the lag, but it's not really as bad as it was on the main servers. All right, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to show you this. This is a unfinished guard tower. This is an unfinished guard tower that I started. And what happened is my neighbor near me created one before me, and I didn't realize they needed to be 50 squares apart. So this is at 48 squares. So I mean, if I would have made it where the cart is, I would be fine to have it. But no, it got locked out. I can't move it. I can destroy it, but no worries. I ended up making another one up there on the hill. You see it says guard tower. So I just created another one. All right. So that's the unfinished guard tower. That's the house up there. I'm gonna try to walk up to my property line here to show you what else I made. I ended up making these kind of covered bridge kind of things to enter my property on land. So here's the end of my property. Right where I'm standing, that's my that's where that tile border is my property boundary. And this is a building. It's just it's called the shed. I should call it entrance 1 or something. So that's really the entrance. And my friend, Phil the Bacon, he owns the rest of up here. His property doesn't start till about 9 squares. About 9 squares in is where his property starts. So this is like dead man's land or neutral land. I would call that neutral land between him and I. All right. So we're going to go down here. And again, my property looks amazing now. I'm hoping that the night cycle comes while I'm still doing this video. And let's go up this path I made. This here, I made these walls just to put on the property line. I made this graveyard, kind of a graveyard scene where I've been burying things that I've been killing, like the trolls, crocodiles. All right, so this is the other fenced-in area that I've got that I made, and I created this entire path to the next town over. So what I did is the other town that's over here, they started. You can see the guard tower top that's the guard tower that locked out the one I was making. So they had gone this path that I'm on right now. I made it all myself. It took me a couple hours to basically work the land the way I wanted it. They came to where that square is right there. That's where they came. The rest of this, I did it just to connect us in case we wanted to trade later on, or if they just wanted a way to get to the eastern part. We're going to go over there. There's another deeded area right here in front of me. If I walk off here, it's called Swamp Town Trade. You can't read it because it's right behind me. If I were to move that screen, you would see it. It says, you know, you have entered Swamp Town. So they're right on the. That's the border right there. Is where that's their border. All right. I'm just trying again. I'm gonna go do some future videos on how I do each thing, like creating a forge, the chicken coop area I made so that you can maximize egg production. Even just building basic paths and stone walls and whatnot. I'll be going over all that in detail in future videos. Now, I do want to say again, I'm a solo player, so everything that you've seen me do here, everything that you've seen, I've done it myself. I didn't rely on anybody to help me. So I created these stone walls for atmosphere. So it's like you enter, these stone walls, and this this path will eventually connect to my neighbors that are over in this direction in the south. They've got a big city there. I think he's got like 8 people that are helping with that deed. And that's what the areas are called in the game that you own. When you own the area, you've deeded it. So you put the deed. I'll show you where my deed marker is once we go around this. So I built this marble structure, and that is a whole process in itself. Again, when you're running on dirt, you move slow. When you're running on things that are paved, you're not. And I'm going to try to do this without clicking on anything so that we don't get that crazy stutter stuff. So yeah, that little crazy stutter stuff. But here's the second floor. I'm going to be making many floors to it. This thing looks amazing at night because all these jack-o'-lanterns are lit. All right. All right, so up this path, I created a public pumpkin patch. There are at least these two lines of pumpkins are in public area. I don't own this area. My property line is actually right here. So even the entrance that I made down there with the walls, those are on the neutral area. So they are taking decay ticks because they're no longer on my property. So when you own the property, you build something, it doesn't decay. It doesn't need repair. On the PvP server, it would in case if somebody attacked it. But over time, it doesn't degrade. If something's off your deed, then it will slowly decay. And I just been repairing that bridge or that shed. What it's called, Tarkis' shed, but it's actually the entranceway to that side of my land. I just been repairing it with a plank every few days. That's, it's no big deal. It would take probably 2 months before it to break down, so it's no big deal if it's on my property or not. I built it there. I got confused about village land and within the territory land. So that's what that neutral buffer is within the territory land. And I didn't realize that my buildings would take decay. And they do. So you have to keep that in mind. This is my second iron mine. You see this mine here? And I'm highlighting stuff so my screen capture thing's going nuts. So down here I've got another iron mine. I've reinforced all the walls down there so it won't cave in. There are areas where I want it to cave in, so I didn't reinforce, so that's that. I lined this entire property line up with these these olive trees, not fig, but olive trees. So these are all olive trees that I planted. And again, on future videos, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so up here is where my guard tower is that I was able to make because it's outside that 50 square limit. So there it is. There's the guard tower. One of the guards is like right here. Now I've got you see this guy right here, Spirit Templar? He's given to me when I bought the land. When you deed the land, you can actually hire Spirit Templars. I think you can hire up to 5 of them. I only hired 1. It basically, if a monster attacks me, he'll help me. The guards will also help me. If I type in help in the local chat, they'll come to my aid too. That's what's nice about the guard tower is it's basically free muscle. So if you run in it, there's another guard right there from my tower. See, he's up there on the hill. I think my tower, my quality is high enough that I get 3 guards basically right now. So I built all these this paving network up to here. This is my 3rd iron mine. So basically in there I've got iron. Now this is as far as I went on this eastern part of my land. I own another 25 squares going up in this direction. So if we walked 25 squares, we would get an information saying that you left the Tarkis zone. But that's pretty much what I've built. Even these trees, these olive trees I've planted myself. Because when they're in season, you can get the olives and then you use a fruit press and you press them and you get what they call olive oil. And that oil can be used to keep the jack-o'-lanterns lit and is used to keep the torches lit. I'm sorry about that stutter step right there because I had to click on something to... And again, I'll fix that in future videos. I don't know why my screen capture software is being finicky. It doesn't happen with other video games that I've played. I've never had to. I mean, it's basically when I highlight something like right there, that's when it happens. See? That's when that happens. And it's not the game. It's the screen capture. It's the system that I'm using, and I will figure that out. So this is the oil barrel I needed to make to put the oil in. So when you open it, you see I've got all olive oil in there. and I can take olive oil out and I can go and put them in the pumpkins to keep them lit. Well, if you've got questions about the game, you can put them in the comments in my YouTube channel below. But this really was an introduction video of what a solo player can do within a month in this game. Because that's really it. I mean, I played a month. I've built pretty much everything I wanted to build. I mean, up to now. I'm going to be building more. And I will be doing some videos in the future about how to do certain things in the game to make it easier for you to play. Well, I'm hoping that you enjoyed this video, and I do apologize for that little stuttering stuff. I will figure it out, and we'll get that cleaned up for future videos. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you watching.